Hello. Since I was trying to put together my file folders because I got some files yesterday from Dollar Tree, I decided just to do this video. I'm going to show you first the file folders I still have to pretty much glue, so you can see a little bit. All these file folders that I'm showing you are for pre-K. It's what I use for my 4-year-old. So the first one, I'm not gluing these sheets in here. This is pretty much for his pre-writing skills. So I just tear up the pages from the workbooks and I put them in here, and as I use them I give it to him. I have more of these pages, but I just wanted to show you that this is one of the things I considered a file folder for him. My other one that I still have to do is this one. I started to do this in construction paper, as you can see, because I didn't have files. So I am going to be cutting these and actually gluing them to a file folder, just because he likes to do things that way. So pretty much he just counts and puts in counters, whatever counters he uses, or we talk about, you know, a group of 4 and find that one and things like that. There's different activities that I do with this. So I have that, and if you notice here, the worksheets that I usually cut for those are these worksheets. So if you find anything like this on your workbooks, it's a good thing to cut up and use for a file folder. The next one is shapes. So if I see like shapes like this also that he has to do patterns with, I will cut it up and then cut the pieces to it and then put that into a little envelope, and that becomes a file folder. So I still got to do those, and I keep adding to it. Like I don't consider this file folder ever done. So whenever the workbook I run into the page, I will just cut another piece and add to it. Let's see what this one is. Okay, and this one's the one for the colors that I also have to take. So you see the differences in between these pages. This one does not belong to the sorting colors that that I'm trying to make the file folder with, but because it had some colors in it, I'm going to be cutting the little socks out so that to add pieces to his sorting. So this will be one of his file folders. The next one is our number mazes. So these also I will not be gluing. This is something I will put in a dry erase protector, so that, you know, if he has to do this, then I can just put it in and out and I don't ruin the page. Since he's only 4, you know, this can last me until he's done with kindergarten. So that's my plan. So anytime I see any of these pages, which they're all different, they get added into here. Another one is shapes. This one, so these are pieces that he's supposed to pretty much circle, but they're like circles and rectangles and diamonds and squares. So I figured I would cut these out as shapes for him to see. There's an oval. So for shapes for him to add to these other pages, so he can just put them where they go. And that's the plan for this file folder. The next one is tracing of shapes. Again, with this file folder, this will not be glued on here. These are for me to use with a protector for him to trace over and over and get really good at following the lines. My son still has trouble stopping. He'll keep going, or he can't, you know, make the turns yet. So this is really good practice, and it's pretty much whatever I find that has those lines, that's a shape, belongs in this folder. Now I'll show you what I have in these little envelopes that I have been using for his activity trays, but I am thinking about putting them also in file folders. As you can see, I just cut little things. I think I've shown you this one before. Yes, this is the one where he counts whatever items and puts it on top. These are pattern cards, so I'll be adding this into the file folder. And as you can see, they're all different. Like, I just find them in different workbooks and cut them out. These are puzzles. So what I did with these, let me take them out. They're all different puzzles, but on the back I have construction paper that I glued. So I glued them onto different colored construction papers so that if he mixes up the pieces, I can still put the pieces together when I give it to him to put together. These are not going in file folders, so I will keep them in here. And this is an activity tray that I use for him. Then I have how many. This one's sealed up. Great. Sorry. Okay, one-handed things are pretty impossible. Okay, so pretty much he just goes through the card, another worksheet from a workbook. So he'll just see what's on the card, and then he can use a clothespin or a number or a counter to tell me how many are on there, and there's different kinds. So if you see any of these worksheets, this is another activity that you can do. And I call that how many. Then we have order sequence. And the same with that. So I have cut different ones, as you can see. So if you find a workbook that has order sequence on them, you can cut out the little pictures and just put them on construction paper. I haven't done it yet, so these are things. He's been using them like that, but I would really like to put the construction paper on the back, because then he's not turning on to see which side he has to use. So all these are sequencing, and they're all different. These have the little numbers, so he can use his little numbers, or, you know, just do it like that. And that's another activity that he does. This one, let me see which is in here. These are pieces that I need for that other file folder, so I will be gluing these in there. And if I run out of space in the inside of the file folder, I will use the back or just start another one. And then this one is what belongs together. I think I've shown this one before. So I just cut a bunch of stuff, and as you can see, I haven't done the construction paper, so these are cards where he'll be going like this and wondering which one goes together. But pretty much, let me see, I have them. The bags will go together, so he will put all these in a group, like dishes, things like that, that I have cut from pictures that he's already done the worksheet, but he didn't circle that picture or something, and it's colorful, and since I don't have colorful ink, that's what I do. So that's an activity I give him. And I had shown his notebook that he had games in, that we had started to do notebooking, and it has a few games in it. So I am going to actually be tearing it up and putting, like this is a game, I will be putting these games on a file folder. This one he's pretty much doing, you know, sizes into the baskets, where he counted his apples. I'll probably use those, and I'm going to be cutting out these games that I have in here, just because he likes to play them, and we keep this notebook, and for me not to have too much stuff out for him or stuff where he's actually looking, I'm going to be cutting those out of there. Okay, and now I will show you what I have in the little box that from the games that he already has to play with. Okay, so in my file folder box that I use for him, we have Let's Count By, and this is a chart that I cut up. So it was a chart to count by twos. So it has like little ice cream pieces, and I cut them up. I mean, why have the chart on the wall if I'm not using it? So cut it up and use it as an activity for him. So an activity tray. So all he does is pretty much put these in order. So he's learning that. And I'm not taking any out yet, like, you know, I'll put them a certain order and just remove one and see which ones he's missing, because he's only 4. But because he already knows his numbers and things like that, I have to kind of think about things to do with him that are actually going to teach him something, because he gets really bored if he already knows what he's doing. These are just memory cards, and he loves playing memory, so I stuck them in this little thing from Dollar Tree. So he plays those. And we also use these too, like seal starts with what sound and what letter and things like that. Also Dollar Tree, they go together, what belongs together, and since he's working on that, so we have these cards and he just puts them together and then he checks it in the back to see if it's correct. I also have number match. He knows his numbers. He knows his numbers up to 20 something. So with this, he has to pair the number with the items, how many they are, and we are now working on the word. So that's what I'm using these for. And he can also put them in a puzzle. So sometimes I'll just pick a few of these that are puzzles and mix them up, and that's an activity. He also has the lowercase and uppercase for the cards, and again, these I take whatever letters we're working on and the ones that are already old that he's already worked on, and those are the only ones I give him at a time. If it's like the weekend, then I'll give him the whole thing for him to play. This were pieces to a game, so they came and you popped out the things. I kept these because these I use for him to do circles. And by me having done that, it has helped him hold his pencil better. It's helping him make better circles. So this is like an activity that I give him. I'll just put one of these on his desk, and he just grabs a piece of paper and he uses whatever he wants, a marker or crayon, whatever he wants to do with the circles. This is another chart, and it goes from 1 through 25. So I cut the numbers up, and we use these for different activities. We can hop to number 5, or play hopscotch with these on our floor, or put certain items on top of them depending on the number. And that's how my son knows to count so high already. So we use these a lot. Another chart I cut up was the colors. So he already knows his colors, so I also use these for different activities that that I want him to play. I'll, you know, ask him, well, bring me all your brown toys, or how many toys can you find that you have brown or black or pink, you know, whatever, things like that. Or we'll throw little bean bags onto the card that I call out, or he hops onto the color that I call out, you know, things like that, where he's actually moving and playing and things like that. As you can see, this was the top of the chart. I kept it because I'll be using it for next year for his kindergarten wall, so I did not get rid of that. This worksheet is his Play-Doh snakes. So I just give him Play-Doh. I don't give him all these colors. I'll just choose a color, whatever color we're, you know, working on, or whatever color he wants to play with. And he has to roll a snake this size, this size, this size, and this size. And it has helped him, you know, learn how to roll the Play-Doh to where it's thin enough and it fits on here and it curves, etc. And then we talk about which one's small, which one's big, and all that. The idea for this, I found it online. It is not my original idea, but I cannot remember because I have had this paper for quite a while. My other son's in 1st grade, so I have had it for a bit. He also does these. which his little pattern cards. And these came from Confessions of a Homeschooler. So it's all the alphabet and the numbers. So he does these. I did show you, I think, this one before, and it's where he practices his name. And I keep this one in here. So he'll practice his name, or he'll practice his letters in the back. These is also another game that he likes to play. So with this, we either use counters, candy, pom-poms, you know, whatever. And he just finds, you know, green, especially since he's learning the words. So he'll just put the whatever's green on all the squares, whatever's orange on all the triangles, etc. So, and this came from ABC Jesus Loves Me. So I have quite a bit of these. Another idea that I use for his file folders or activities is the letters with the pom-poms or the magnets. So, and he just does these depending on, you know, what color the apple is. So the apple's red, so he'll find stuff red to put on it, or green for the alligator. Sometimes he gets bored of that and just mixes up his colors. And that was from homeschoolcreations.com. And then the next one is our Play-Doh Letters. And these are also from homeschoolcreations.com. And I think I have some from Confessions of a Homeschooler. So pretty much he's just, that rolling of the snakes that he was working on helps him actually put the Play-Doh thin enough where it fits in here. And long enough where he can build it. So that's a good idea to use that. Then we have our letter building. What I call our letter building. So these, he either uses blocks, and he puts foam blocks that I found at Dollar Tree, or he uses stones, the glass stones that Dollar Tree sells, or he uses beans, or he uses his pom-poms, anything that he wants to put in here to build the letter D. Okay, so now another file folder that we have, move these over so I can have space. Another file folder that I have is this 1 to 10 apples. Basically, you know, you can use magnetic letters, counters, ask him to point to a number and he finds it. And I made on purpose, I put, you know, numbers going this way because at the same time I'm teaching him that when you read from left to right. So I don't count this way, and you know, like I've seen some, I won't do that with him. So anyways, that's what you can use for that. And this one was from thisreadingmama.com. Let's see, the next one is my mazes. These also from workbooks. So any maze I see, I will put in here. So he's got that maze, and this maze, and that maze, and that maze. And I keep, you know, pretty much all the pages I can that I find in the workbooks. And these are also going on a dry erase, so he can use them and use them and use them. So that's a file folder. These are the pieces to whatever game that I have in here, and I think these are a puzzle game, since I just saw the pieces. Yes. So here, like, he has to build the pencil to make it look like that, the watermelon, the hot dog, the bone, and all these came also from a file folder. And if I find another page, I will be cutting more, so to fill up his file folder. And like I said before, make sure your pieces, like when you do a workbook page, they're so light. So I do back my pieces up with construction paper because it's the cheapest thing to do. It makes it hard. It feels like it's a cardstock. So I don't laminate them because, I mean, that's just going to be too much money. So I don't laminate, and my son knows how to take care of his stuff. This one is what I have been using for his phonics to teach him to read. So since he's 4, all we're working on is letter sounds and putting 2 letters together as a sound. When he turns 5, I will be working with him a little bit more on phonics. But I'm not basing that this year, other than teaching him his letter sounds and what letter sounds like this and things like that, to make it easier for him when it comes to kindergarten. So pretty much he does the chart. So we do this every day for school. He does his flashcards first with just the letters by themselves, and then we go through this. And this idea for the chart came from another homeschooling mom, and I just did my own little chart like this so that I can open it and close it and do it every day. So this is like 2 file folders, put like a lap book folding. But the book that I ordered that I still need to get is called Cartilla Fonética, and where I grew up, that's what we use to teach a child to read. So that's what I will be using for my son. Then I did this. When I didn't have files, I used construction paper. So since he's working on sounds, beginning and ending sounds is what we're working on, so that's what I call this game. And pretty much I just glued a bunch of pictures on here, and he has to tell me what the beginning and the ending sound is for each. And like you see, all these are different from different places in the workbooks that he has done, the pages that he has done that we're not using anymore. That some of them are a little bit circled and things like that, but it's okay. He just looks at the picture. But because I just got files, I am probably going to be cutting these out and gluing them onto a file folder just to make it more sturdy. The other one, I bought a game from Dollar Tree, Colors and Shapes Bingo, and I put all the pieces in here. So these pieces are pretty hard, and they go to the caller. Whoever's going to be the caller is the one that has all the pieces to the bingo, and I put them on an envelope. And then I put the whole call sheet, I glued it to the file folder, and then the pieces to the bingo are in here. So they love to play this on the weekends, so we play that on the weekends, and it teaches them, you know, their shapes and their colors. And even my first grader loves to play this game. So that's a weekend game. We call our file folders weekend games. Then I also have alphabet sound match. So with these I cut. I do not remember even where they came from. I think it was some kind of chart. I don't remember. But I thought about a game, and I was like, well, why not? So I cut all the pieces like different things. And I put them in here, and there's some more in here because they don't all fit. And basically what they do is they grab the picture and they find out where it goes. What the sound that it begins with, or what the sound that it ends with, and I start stacking them up on here. So that's what that game is. Then we have ordering numbers 1 through 10. Again, other worksheets that I have used. So with this, I will have him use his either glass stones that have the numbers, the phone numbers on there, or little tiles that I have with the numbers already on there, and he just puts whatever goes in the middle. So that's another idea you can do. And this one's old because right now I'm thinking like, oh my god, I only got 2 pages, and I could have just put all the pages in here. That's how old that game is. Then I have numbers, and this must have been one of my first file folders that I did, because the file folder is even laminated, and I don't do that anymore. So I keep the pieces in here. And this one is to teach 10 frames. It is to teach Spanish word along with the number. So he can count already up to 8. So what he's doing is I tell him, well, let's do number 3. So he has to find number 3, which is the pieces that are over here. They're little cards with the actual name, and he'll put that there. And then he has to show me 3 onto the 10 frame. And then the same thing for all the other numbers. And then when he's done with all the numbers, we will count. And I help him once he passes 8. I have to help him because he's still Hasn't gotten these two yet, but basically that's what we do. I like this game because it's actually teaching him how to start 10 frames, so that he knows that it's just 10, and then the next one will be 10, and then the next one will be 10, etc. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and you keep going. And I do this folder only in Spanish. I don't want him doing this in English yet because the file folder is for Spanish. So, but he gets the basic idea, so when he gets to kindergarten, he will know what to do with his 10 frames. And this is actually a game that I used for when my first grader was learning. So, then we have What's the Weather, and I printed this one from preschoolmom.com. And basically it has all the, you know, like winter and fall and summer, and then you have all the pieces of like clothes and stuff like that that goes in there. And I colored that with a marker because all my stuff, as you can see, I don't have color ink, but he likes to play that game. So that helps him with the weather. And then I have this little game board, and it came from the Dollar Tree. So we'll play like tic-tac-toe on it, or dots and boxes. So he likes that. And there's another game for Hangman. He doesn't take vocabulary, but he is learning his name. So we use it for his name, his first name, his middle name, and his last name. So that's how we use Hangman for right now. As he learns his number words and his color words, we'll add that in to the Hangman. And I like it because it's erasable, so he can use it over and over. And we also play this one. So he likes to play that one. And those are it for right now. That's pretty much what I have found. And for pre-K, I do like to keep adding to it. To try to make new games for him. In another video, I will show you what I use for his activity trays, like as far as, you know, his beans and things like that I have. So hopefully this helps you, gives you some ideas of where you can go to find some things. Hit like if you like the video, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.